Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Ken Lavigne, singer / vocal coach here on YouTube. And today we are asking ourselves the question and begging for an answer. Have we reached peak Nessun Dorma? Well, the boys from Home Free don't seem to think so. Austin and Rob have put together their version of Nessun Dorma, and this comes to my attention. It's been out for a year from our good friend Jamie, who, as a friend of the channel and as a subscriber, has put this request in. 2 country singers try singing opera. Nessun Dorma, Austin Brown and Rob Lundquist, 2 of the tenors from Home Free. That got my attention. I'm very familiar with Nessun Dorma, very familiar with Mr. Puccini and his work. I find it incredibly stimulating as well as difficult. It's quite a mountain to climb. So let's see what the boys from Home Free do with their version of it right now. Here we go, Nessun Dorma. That doesn't sound like Puccini. It's like they're coming to church here. They're taking their hats off.
Nessun Dorma, Nessun Dorma. Tu pure, o principessa, nella tua fredda stanza, guardi le stelle che tremano d'amore.
Okay, so Rob, right there, Rob is definitely a trained classical singer. I don't know if Rob ever dabbled in opera, but his voice has that characteristic quality about it that it lends itself to opera. You can hear that in the breadth of the vibrato that he's approaching this. And look, he's got a big smile on his face. He obviously enjoys this music. I guess they're going to be doing a tag team version of this song, Nessun Dorma. Let's see what they do.
E di speranza. Ma il mio mistero è chiuso in me. Il nome mio nessun saprà. No, no, sulla tua bocca lo dirò.
Beautifully done. Now that particular rising movement goes all the way through the passaggio, the tenor's passaggio, and the mark of whether or not you know what you're doing with your voice as you go up through there is how smoothly that transition happens, as if it never happened at all. And I can tell that Austin is not necessarily trained in the same way. I feel that his voice is just a natural high tenor, so these high notes don't actually feel that high. They feel a little bit produced less operatically, but it's still, the microphone loves his voice, so it sounds good. It sounds really good. And I gotta be honest with you, opera singers don't actually sound all that appealing when the microphone is shoved up right in their face. And I just don't think so. They need the room. This is what you train your voice to do. But again, there's more to this song than just singing high. Okay, so that little movement there, splenderam, such a nod to the great maestro Luciano Pavarotti. That's what he did. He always did that beautiful little splenderam. This lovely little portamento slide that really, you're not supposed to do in opera all that much, but Pavarotti, he's the king. King of the high seas. He can do what he wants. I wanted to listen to that again.
Scioglierà il silenzio
So you can hear the qualitative difference between the two voices as they are singing it. Rob has leaned more heavily on the operatic classical side. Speranza. And it almost has a quasi, the term is oropharyngeal. It's a necktie tenor. If you leaned too heavily in that direction, sort of like a Kermit the Frog kind of vocal quality. And there is some precedent for that particular quality from some of the historical recordings, though you don't necessarily want to emulate it. People want to hear more of the Pavarotti's vocal function and making those sounds ring out as beautifully as you can. But every voice is a little bit different. And when we start comparing tenors, it's not always apples to apples. Everybody's voice has its own unique fingerprint, and we're finding this out, listening to these two tenors sing this song. Okay, so Austin, so he's wanting to create that forward placement. I know I'm stopping a lot and analyzing, but I know this piece down to the ground. I've performed it many times, and it's a juggernaut. Not because it's such a hard song. There are harder songs in the operatic literature that are more taxing, more strenuous. They have more breadth, but this one has the cultural weight of expectation on it because of the three tenors and their performance in '91 at the World Cup, and how that just changed everything, the tenor landscape, and inspired many performers such as myself. The first time I heard Luciano Pavarotti singing this song, I was like, whoa, this is incredible. Anyway, his production, or how he's placing his voice, and placement is one of those things at the very top of our hierarchy, of our pyramid of production: posture, breathing, phonation, placement, resonance, articulation, all of those really nitty-gritty things that we like to play around with. The fun stuff of singing, he's placing it very pointedly, almost in a nasal way. And that is a very protective way of approaching this particular ascending scale. You want to protect your voice from potentially using too much vocal heft as you move through that passaggio. It's a smart move for someone who isn't necessarily an opera singer, but has the vocal firepower to sing this literature.
E noi dovremmo, ahimè, morir tramontate stelle, all'alba vincerò.
Yeah.
Vincerò.
Yeah, I love this little... that part right there. Oh, that got me. Won me over, boys. Yes. Nicely done. That was beautiful, that little duet there, that moment. I wonder, do they do this live at all? Now, this was produced, I believe, about 12 months ago. And it's so smooth. Now, I think I recently did a reaction to another YouTuber who performed this particular song, and he took a slightly different track and used his vocal firepower to propel his voice forward. And it was much more muscular in terms of its approach. These guys are just so smooth, and that's essentially what you want. You really want to have that sense that everything flows from that breath support, and you're never, ever struggling for those high notes. When you see Pavarotti, when he's performing, those eyes, it's almost like his gaze turns inward as he's looking inward into himself to make sure that all the positionality from everything is all in perfect alignment so that top note rings out as high or as beautifully as it does. These guys, they just make it look easy here. It's a little sickening. If you are a young tenor and you of any genre and you want to attempt to sing Nessun Dorma because you're excited by the music, or maybe you were inspired by the great Luciano Pavarotti like I was to take on the mantle of operatic singer, if you wanting to do that, I strongly suggest you reach out to a competent vocal coach, one who can guide you through some of the idiosyncrasies of the genre so that you don't end up painting yourself into a vocal corner. These guys obviously know what they're doing. They're professionals. They sing all over the world and they know their own voice. That's what a good vocal coach can do for you, is to help you discover the power and the majesty of your own voice. That's it. Yeah, man, that was great. Thank you, Jamie, for pointing me in the direction of that magnificent performance. If you have any comments, you know what to do. You can leave those comments down in the chat below and let me know. What do you think of Nessun Dorma? Are you guys inspired by it, or are you like, what's the big deal? I don't get it. Leave those comments down below. Also, too, if you are wondering how you can make your voice heard to me directly, there are links down below in the description. You can cut through all the noise and get a hold of me directly. If you have a specific request that you would like me to follow down, chase down, you can do that too through those links. And if you are so inclined, you could leave a kind, lovely donation as well, just like Jamie did as well. If you are not yet a member of this fabulous community of vocal aficionados and music lovers, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button, notification bell, thumbs up, all the YouTube-y stuff. I know the algorithm is fed by it, and it also helps you. It can feed you because then you don't miss out on any of the stuff that is produced here on the channel every week. Okay, with that all said, thank you so much for taking time out of your super duper busy day and spending a few of those moments, those precious moments here with me. Now, those are just a few of my thoughts about the great Nessun Dorma, and much love and appreciation to you all, and we will see you next time.